With the team's dramatic entrance into the courtroom and all the excitement they had built up, they plan their way to success. Welcome to part 2 of Vincenzo Recap. Watch out and take care. Welcome to the drama ahead. Just as the judge is about to enter his chambers, one of the tenants accidentally bumps into him and smears honey all over his suit. The judge had already been bribed by Wusong law firm, ensuring that Vincenzo and Cha Young would lose no matter what. As the trial begins, things take a turn when the water on the floor causes the judge to slip and fall. Embarrassed but determined, he regains his composure and continues. Cha Young suddenly claims she is having a panic attack and faints. The judge insists the trial must proceed, but just as he turns away, she miraculously stands up, completely fine. For their next trick, the lights in the courtroom mysteriously go out. Even in the darkness, the judge remains adamant about continuing the trial. That's when Vincenzo and Cha Young pull their final stunt. They release a swarm of hornets into the courtroom. With honey smeared all over him, the judge becomes their main target. Stung and terrified, he has no choice but to postpone the case for a week. As the court adjourns, Vincenzo visits the prison. Coincidentally, it is the same day Yuchan used to visit his mother. Vincenzo approaches her and coldly informs her that no one will be visiting her anymore. When he asks about her family, she sadly claims she has none. Without revealing his identity, Vincenzo tells her she lived a miserable life, which is why she is alone. He walks away, leaving her in shock. Returning to the office, Vincenzo prepares for the upcoming trial. When he casually mentions to Cha Young that he plans to return to Italy, she is visibly disappointed. That night, they go out for drinks, and Cha Young playfully pressures Vincenzo to reveal why he is so interested in Jumga Plaza. Wanting her help, he finally confesses the truth about the hidden gold, but she bursts into laughter, thinking he is joking. Meanwhile, the Secret Service has been receiving multiple inquiries about Vincenzo. Their boss recalls Gi Suk from his undercover mission and instructs him to start responding to the growing number of petitions about Vincenzo. Gi Suk begins stalking him and follows him into the Buddhist temple. However, he misinterprets Vincenzo's actions. When Vincenzo bends down to check the underground lock securing the gold, Gi Suk assumes he is praying. At Wusong law firm, Sung Han is suddenly summoned by Han Seo. Upon arriving, he is shocked to find Jun Woo giving a dramatic presentation. Jun Woo finally reveals the truth. He is the biological son of Babel's founder, while Han Seo is only the stepson. In reality, Jun Woo has been controlling Babel from the shadows, keeping Han Seo as a mere puppet. Mocking Sung Han for being clueless, Jun Woo praises Myung Hee but demands to know why she keeps losing to Vincenzo. Realizing the situation is getting out of control, Myung Hee plays her trump card. She plants large sums of money in the homes of the victims involved in the lawsuit and frames them for embezzlement, ensuring they cannot testify. Additionally, she orders that Yu Yang be drugged, so he will be unable to speak in court. The next morning, Cha Young receives an urgent call and rushes to the police station with Vincenzo. She is devastated to learn that all of her witnesses have been compromised. Adding insult to injury, Jun Woo personally arrives and once again offers her a chance to return to Wusong law firm. She refuses, walking away without a second thought. The day of the trial arrives, and Myung Hee calls Director Gil, a corrupt doctor, to testify in her favor. With no witnesses left, it seems like all hope is lost for Cha Young. But just as the courtroom falls silent, she boldly announces that she has a surprise witness. To everyone's shock, Vincenzo enters the courtroom, straight from prison. Realizing they had no witness, Vincenzo told Cha Young to make him the surprise witness. However, he needed to be directly linked to the case, so he staged an assault on some researchers, stole their phones, and got himself arrested. In court, he presents one of the stolen phones as evidence, but the judge hesitates to accept it. Hence, Vincenzo accuses Director Gil of lying under oath and even threatens to assault him for perjury. The judge dismisses Vincenzo's medical claims, arguing that he is not a doctor. On that basis, they introduce a doctor as a surprise witness. The doctor is Director Gil's wife. It turns out Vincenzo had discovered that Gil was cheating on his wife and planning to divorce her. Using this information, he struck a deal with her. He would help her get revenge and take all of Gil's assets. In court, she exposes her husband's infidelity, even reveals he is a drug addict who personally drugged Yu Yang. Chaos erupts in the courtroom, but Junwoo knows he has lost. To control the damage, he orders Han Seo to hold a press conference, admit to the allegations, and compensate the victims. Furious, he also commands that Junga Plaza be demolished immediately. On his way back, Junwoo recklessly drives Sung Han and Myung-hee to the middle of nowhere, nearly killing them in his rage. He calls their methods outdated and demands they take everything from Cha-young, leaving Vincenzo to him. Wanting to thank Vincenzo, Cha-young takes him shopping for clothes. Later, all the tenants gather at Yu Yang's hospital. When Vincenzo tries to bring up the building's demolition, the mood turns somber. It turns out that weeks ago, a drunkard had revealed a shocking secret that the night the workers were killed, he had witnessed the gold being hidden beneath the plaza. To prove it, he even showed them a picture of one of the workers and the gold itself. Suddenly, Vincenzo gets a call from the officer, informing him that the demolition order is final and cannot be delayed any longer. With no other options, he must find a way to stall it himself. That night, Myung-hee meets with Chief Prosecutor Jin Tae to bribe him, but he refuses. News of their meeting spreads like wildfire. Meanwhile, at their father's memorial, Han Seo asks if his brother can kill him too, since he knew his brother killed their father, and when his brother says yes, he is stunned. As all these tensions rise, Myung-hee orders Cha-young's arrest. However, Cha-young remains unfazed, confident that Vincenzo will get her out. True to her expectations, Vincenzo strikes a deal with Myung-hee. If she releases Cha-young, he will deliver Jin Tae to her side. Doubting he can pull it off, she accepts. Unknown to Myung-hee, Vincenzo has connections to the CEO of an elite Italian club, an organization Jin Tae desperately wants his son to join. Using this leverage, Vincenzo arranges a meeting with the CEO, and Jin Tae immediately agrees to cooperate with Myung-hee. As a result, Cha-young is released. In an attempt to intimidate the tenants into surrendering and also obtain scandalous footage of Babel's demolition crew, Vincenzo hires men to ambush the thugs responsible for the demolition. His plan is simple. His men will attack anyone wearing red, as that is the demolition crew's uniform. However, things take an unexpected turn when Gi-suk, the Secret Service agent, happens to be wearing red as well. Instead of attacking the Babel thugs, Vincenzo's men mistakenly target the tenants. Determined to fight for their gold, the tenants retaliate, resulting in an all-out brawl. When Vincenzo arrives at Junga Plaza, he finds himself standing in the middle of absolute chaos. After the chaos, Cha-young bails the tenants out of the police station. Meanwhile, Myung-hee and Sung Han report to Junwoo that they have successfully bought the prosecutor. However, Junwoo is unimpressed. He knows it was Vincenzo who orchestrated it. Frustrated by his dismissive attitude, Myung-hee finally snaps. She reminds Junwoo that the only reason she didn't resign after his previous humiliation was because she also hates losing. She vows that she will win. Meanwhile, the leaked video of Babel's thugs attacking Junga Plaza causes a massive financial loss for the company. Enraged, Junwoo demands that they secure new funds immediately. The captured thugs are thrown into a freezer, left to die. Suddenly, Vincenzo's mother, Jeom-ja, falls ill. He visits her with Cha-young and insists on getting her proper treatment. Around the same time, Myung-hee approaches Min-sung, a bank owner she had previously helped, and forces him to invest in Babel. Left with no choice, Min-sung agrees. After visiting Jeom-ja, Vincenzo meets with Mr. Cho, who reveals that they can retrieve the iris scan of the gold's original owner from a museum to unlock the safe. They begin planning the heist. However, as Mr. Cho leaves the building, Gi-suk spots him and finds his face familiar. Meanwhile, Min-sung, who turns out to be the son of Jeom-ja's former employer, visits her, offering her hush money and telling her not to waste her life seeking a retrial. Outraged, Cha-young joins Jeom-ja in grabbing Min-sung by the hair and dragging him out. Later, Cha-young discovers that Min-sung has officially agreed to fund Babel. Upon further research, she learns that Min Song is attracted to men. However, when his advances are rejected, he retaliates violently. Myung Hee had covered up several of these incidents for him. To sabotage his deal with Babel, they hatch a plan that Vincenzo will seduce Min Song. The plan works. During one of their dates, Min Song confesses a dark secret. His father had been harassing Jeom Ja while his mother stood by and watched. Jeom Ja pushed him, and when he collapsed, his mother did nothing as he died. On the day of the investment signing, Wusong law firm arrives, immediately suspicious when they see Cha Young present. Just as Min Song is about to sign, Vincenzo appears, professing his love for him. Overwhelmed, Min Song refuses to sign the contract. Unfortunately, Myung Hee had anticipated such an outcome, so she had already arranged for Min Song's mother to be present. She signs the deal on his behalf. As punishment for Min Song, Vincenzo calls the tenants to scare him with ghost pranks. Terrified, Min Song rushes to his mother, only to be humiliated in front of reporters. Desperate, he runs toward Vincenzo, whom he knows as Tae-ho. But before he can say anything, the police arrive to arrest him for blackmail. Before leaving, Vincenzo issues another warning to Babel and Wusong. However, Myung Hee retaliates by taunting Cha Young, reminding her how her father died and warning her not to meet the same fate. Furious, Cha Young refuses to back down. In front of the reporters, she boldly announces her intention to expose Babel's corruption. The war has only just begun. While Babel manages to stay afloat, things remain difficult for them. Han Seo grows increasingly frustrated with Jun Woo's controlling nature, but he has no choice but to obey. As a result, he secretly buys a gun, preparing for the worst. Meanwhile, the tenants at Junga Plaza are more determined than ever to find the gold, each using their own methods to search for it. Jun Woo's problems worsen when Gil seeks protection from the prosecutors. As Myung Hee informs him of this, Jun Woo receives a call from Gil himself. He demands $30 million in exchange for his silence about Jun Woo murdering their father. Furious, Jun Woo summons Han Seo for a meeting with the prosecutors. However, Han Seo can't help but wonder, if Jun Woo killed their father so easily, why is he hesitating to kill Cha Young? While they meet with the prosecutors, Cha Young and Vincenzo visit the victim of the drug. That night, thugs break into Vincenzo's room, but two tenants searching for gold happen to be there and fight them off. Meanwhile, two more thugs break into Cha Young's home, but Vincenzo, having noticed them earlier, rushes to her rescue. Elsewhere, Jun Woo escalates his threats. He murders Jean Tae's driver and warns Jean Tae to obey his commands if he wants to live. He also orders Han Seo to tighten his security to keep his real identity hidden. As usual, Vincenzo and Cha Young continue their search for Babel's true boss. Since Cha Young has nowhere to sleep that night, she stays at Vincenzo's place. However, even in the morning, Jun Woo still calls her, trying to track her whereabouts. The next day, Jun Woo forces Jean Tae to indict two major banks, ensuring they will invest in Babel. Meanwhile, Vincenzo and Cha Young learn that Gil is under witness protection by prosecutor In-kook. They meet with In-kook and tell him about Babel's hidden boss. In-kook admits that the theory is possible, but he refuses to approve a sting operation, claiming he follows the law by the book. By evening, news breaks that the banks have officially invested in Babel, giving them enough funds to restart their pharmaceutical company and continue producing their illegal drugs. The victims of their drugs are scheduled to leave for a vacation that night, so Cha Young decides to hold off on telling them the bad news until they return. However, everything takes a dark turn. In-kook calls, revealing that Gil has suddenly started denying all charges against Babel. Desperate, he agrees to the sting operation. But when Vincenzo and Cha Young arrive at the scene, In-kook is nowhere to be found. Upon entering the building, they discover both prosecutors handling Gil are dead. Gil himself has been murdered. As if things couldn't get worse, Cha Young receives a message from the victims. They are depressed and plan to end their lives. She rushes to their location, only to find them all dead. Jun Woo has finally launched his counterattack, and at this moment he seems to have the upper hand. Who will win this battle? The blow to Cha Young is unbearable. It worsens when she goes to the police station, only to be told the case is being ruled as an intentional death, meaning they won't investigate. Furious and grieving, she decides that those who died didn't deserve such a fate and gives Vincenzo full authority to take absolute revenge, eliminating anyone just as the mafia style. Meanwhile, Sung Han grows terrified of Jun Woo's brutality, but he lacks the power to do anything. In desperation, he approaches Han Seo, claiming he can help him become CEO. However, Han Seo knows his brother is far too ruthless to cross. As Vincenzo sets his revenge in motion, he targets corrupt officers to obtain copies of the police report. He also meets with Cho, who informs him that he has acquired the owner's iris, but Vincenzo has been hesitant to remove the monks from the temple. Frustrated by his delay, Cho takes matters into his own hands and files a petition against the Buddha temple himself. Amidst all this, Vincenzo receives a call from a friend in Italy, warning him that someone from Korea is looking for him. Meanwhile, Cha Young continues to stay at his place, and they grow even closer. Determined to find out who killed the victims, Vincenzo reviews CCTV footage and discovers they were followed to a bridge. Realizing that provoking babble is the only way to draw out its true owner, he gathers the tenants and directs a mockery video of Han Seo, Myung-hee, and Sung Han. However, Jun Woo quickly catches on and doesn't react, refusing to be baited. Also, Vincenzo sends a chilling message, marking the letter C to Han Seo, Myung-hee, and Sung Han too. He tells Cha Young that if Babel has truly discovered his identity, they know exactly what C means. Sure enough, Jun Woo's hired investigator returns from Italy with gruesome evidence of Vincenzo's past crimes, including how he marks his targets with C before eliminating them. Now fully aware of who Vincenzo really is, Jun Woo decides to witness him in action. That night, he lures Cha Young out while sending thugs to demolish the plaza. Unknown to him, Vincenzo has an entirely different plan, one he has kept even from Cha Young. He instructs Ju Sung to record a video of him heading to the same bridge where the victims were taken. When Jun Woo sees the footage, he immediately dispatches his men there. Fearing for Vincenzo's life, Ju Sung panics and calls Cha Young, revealing his plan. As she rushes out, Jun Woo offers to drive her there, claiming they must save him together. However, when they arrive, they are met with a shocking sight. Vincenzo has already taken out all the assassins. The last surviving attacker, their leader, is left gravely injured. Vincenzo grabs his phone, unlocks it, and finally uncovers the true identity of Babel's chairman. As Cha Young reaches him and embraces him tightly, he looks straight at Jun Woo and declares, "I know who the real chairman of Babel is." With this revelation, is Vincenzo's revenge finally coming to an end? And how will Jun Woo retaliate? Like and subscribe to our channel to watch next part of this series. See you next time.